there's more to come as far as football.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming
back. You know that.
Time to clock in, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I gotta get back in shape.
Clock in.
Let's get it.
Clock in.
We on our Grussle, our grind and our hustle.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. Nico said we took 80 days off, man. I'm back.
Clock in.
We
Clock in.
Federico.
You already know. You already know that. It gets spicy this season too.
Yeah, we gotta get back.
Yeah, it gets spicy this season.
We gotta be back, man.
We gotta start arguing.
Just gotta talk about LeBron. That's easy. We like skipping Shannon. Man, it feels good, man. Feels good.
That's like it, man.
Feels great, actually. What up? Russell's back.
Our grind and our hustle.
Yeah. Yeah, what up, Nick?
Yes, sir.
I'm here with my brothers again. I just want to say I'm glad, I'm happy, amen, and I'm blessed. Amen! Here we are.
Vibe.
Consistency, man.
Vibe.
Take off.
But there are others, we're not really putting time in. We're not putting the work in.
Working, man.
We're not clocking in so that we can do what God is calling us to do.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a bar, man.
That's tough, Dad.
Clock in. Clock in.
That's tough.
Episode 81, man.
81 like T.O.
Road to 100.
T.O.'s 81, right?
Yeah.
That man just ran a 4.4 at like 4.4. He's like 44, I think, or 45.
Something like that. He should be running a 4.4, and
I mean, that dude.
He shouldn't have abs the way he has abs.
He's a freak, man. He is for sure a freak.
Look, he still thinks
that was for
he should be
sickos out there.
All right, man. For those who don't know, we're fools. We're already starting off shenanigans. Yeah, he still thinks he can be a starting receiver.
He probably could.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's introduce
Jags
ourselves before we. Why you got it?
I'm we'll get to it, but I'm scared. I'm low key scared of the Jags. I don't have a lot of confidence this year. I don't know why in my team. But we'll see.
I'm scared of the Jags too. Not in a good way. All right, so real quick, so we can start off this season on the right foot, because we expect to have some new listeners. So co-host Clocking the Podcast here, Marshall Hamilton.
Yes, sir. Co-host Austin Hamilton. We're here, man, Clocking the Podcast, episode 81.
Yes, sir.
If this is your first time listening, we appreciate you. If it's your last time listening, we appreciate you too. But we want you to stay.
It shouldn't be your last time.
We want you to stay, but
we're controversial sometimes, so
yeah, we might get into that today.
Yeah, we probably should, but
with the clock in and clock out, we'll see.
But yeah, so for context, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Hold up.
We on our Grussle, our grind and our hustle.
Russ is back, man. Yes, sir. Russ is back.
Yeah.
Nico's back. Can I get one, Nick?
Yep.
There we go. Just had to.
Yeah.
I let the people know. We didn't. We didn't.
We don't have these aren't bots in the background.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nico's actually here, Gruss is actually here. We're actually here.
We don't got no budget, but we ain't making no budget cuts. We're still here, man.
Yeah, man. The lights are still on. Speaking of the lights, shout out to Iko Underwood.
Yes, sir.
Sponsor of Clocking the Podcast. She's a real estate agent who's registered in Virginia. Been doing her thing with real estate for a while. She has her own investment properties, but she also helps people like us buy homes, sell homes. She bought her home herself in Northern Virginia, I think earlier this year. So she can speak from experience. She's a former Marine, so a veteran, single mom. Just doing a lot of great things. So shout out to Aiko.
We'll get you a drop, Aiko. Actually, no, you don't have Instagram yet.
Yeah. She Instagramless Aiko. She is on Facebook. Aiko Underwood, and then
did we ever come up with a name?
Nah, we had some suggestions, but she's not taking it serious, man.
I feel
she's not taking it serious. So if you go to our website, clockinpod.com, go to sponsors. There's some information. There's a link that directs you all to her website. It also lets her know that we sent you. So if you're in Virginia and looking to buy or sell or just looking to get more information about the home buying process, Aiko's your girl. All right. Back to the NFL stuff. So for context, I'm a Jacksonville Jags fan. If you ask me why, I don't know, to be honest with you anymore. I'm loyal, man.
That's one thing you can say about
I'm loyal.
Both of our teams. Like, you're not, and I'm a Titans fan, Tennessee Titans fan. You're not jumping on the bandwagons of either of these teams.
Nah.
So it proves your loyalty.
Yeah. A lot of y'all are, all of a sudden Raiders fans, Chiefs fans. We got out the mud. All right, we're still in the mud.
Y'all still in the mud.
We're still in the
Raiders?
There's some Las Vegas Raiders fans now.
Good though.
I'm with you. Like, I don't. Again, I think we've talked about Derek Carr maybe, but I'm like, I don't like that. He gets a lot of hype, and I'm like, why? Like, what has he done? I mean, I don't get it. But yeah, like you said, Nick, the Raiders they barely made it to the playoffs. They probably shouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, they're in a tough division. Colin Cowherd made a good point. He's been through a ton of just drama and BS, different coaches, leadership, roster changes, and he's been the only person who's really been consistent. So I mean, I get it, but he hasn't won yet. So
yeah, we're gonna see.
But I figure we could start out with just a recap, man, of the break. What we've been doing this whole time. We haven't just been sitting at home doing nothing.
Clock in.
Yeah, we've been. You already know.
Clock in.
I'll speak for myself. One of the things that hasn't made progress, my beard still hasn't connected. So if my voice, if I'm not speaking confidently, my voice is a little bit soft today, like Spice Adams, we don't. It's still not. You know what I'm saying? It's just. God is good though. God is so good.
The progress for me is I low key got I'm starting to get the connector for the goatee. Somebody be looking like
Shamar Moore in the 90s.
Or Morris Chestnut. His joint was skinny. I can't do the skinny joint.
But you got to get the shape up with no taper if you're going to be looking like
no chance. Yeah. Shape up with no taper. I'm about to do a mustache. I'm going to do it at one point.
November.
Should I for November?
You'll be alone, champ.
I'm gonna just do the mustache.
What else happened? What else happened? This week or Sunday, I created a new Instagram just strictly devoted to hoops content. So for those who don't know, I was hacked in the spring, and we've been talking about not really using our personal Instagrams anyway. We're like, we should get rid of it because it wasn't really. For me, it was.
It's just like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Just there wasn't. We're not like the type that have to post every update and show off and all that other stuff. Like I would drop some nuggets and stuff and try to drop some wisdom and just comedy and stuff like that. But I just wanted to just kind of start over and just get rid of it. It was a distraction, to be honest. And then I got hacked, and then I tried to get it back a couple times.
Who do you think hacked you?
The Kimbe Mutombo's nephew. I didn't. So yeah. I mean, somebody out there, you might be our cousin.
Yeah, you probably related to him.
You kind of look like.
Who you look like?
You probably the Olajuwon family or something. but yeah. Anyways, I got hyped. I didn't really try to get it back. 'Cause I'm like, you know what, this is good. I can focus on the clock and Instagram. But created a Hoops IG. We won another Lifetime League championship.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that one was
repeat.
Yeah. Back to back.
That was we can get into that real quick. That was it was our toughest road to that championship.
100%.
We lost 3 games.
Lost 3 games. I mean, to those who don't know, again, not trying to. Actually, I am trying.
Granted,
to
this is what
I am trying to flex. I was gonna say I'm not trying to flex, but I am trying to flex. We've been playing in that league for I think 2 years now. Well, 3 years, and then you take out COVID.
Yeah.
And up until the spring season, I think we had lost a total of 4 games in 4 seasons or something like that.
So that's 20-something games?
Yeah, I mean, we won 30-something games maybe and lost 4, something crazy like that. We had never lost more than I think two games in a season, and even the spring season, we lost every game by 1 possession.
Yeah.
Every game there's been 1 game where we just got blown out, and that was spring of 2021, where we just
people were on vacation. We didn't
yeah. I mean, I wasn't 100%. It just we started out flat. This wasn't a good. But other than that, every game we've lost, and it hasn't been many. It's literally been 1 possession.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So last season, we went 5-3. And we started out. So
and it was a frustrating 5-3. It looked like we were just bored, right? We just weren't playing inspiring basketball. Again, granted, this is a men's league, but we hold ourselves to a standard. We won a number of championships, so there's a standard already in place, right? And we just weren't playing hard. There wasn't any energy, so it was frustrating because. We were getting on guys we're getting punked right now. What are we doing? So it was frustrating, but once the playoffs came, flipped the switch, and the championship game was intense. Great environment.
Oh yeah.
Standing room only to Lifetime standards, but it got very intense. We were down pretty much the whole game. I don't even know if we had the lead at one point.
Yeah, I mean, we went back and forth, but they had a 2 to 8 point lead most of the game.
They got up double digits at one point.
Yeah, they did.
And what were you about to say?
One of the things I do want to say is, we had come off a championship in the Winter League, right? And one of the things that Austin and I talked about is we had to look ourselves in the mirror because we're, at least verbally, we're the leaders of that team, and even by example. Not that we don't have other leaders, right? There's other people leading their own way, but it's our brand, the Goods. That's what the team was named after. We put the team together, so it pretty much, is our team from a leadership perspective. And this is how it was bad. I was being myself. I've always gotten on guys, right, when we're not playing it the right way. But Austin typically is
I'll let you do that.
I
don't need to do that.
Yeah, we're yin and yang. Austin is the one who's gonna, hey, we're good. We just need to settle down and do this. I'm the one who's gonna light a fire. Austin's gonna be the one to calm it down. Austin was getting frustrated and acting like me pretty much. And
I was out here telling dudes hey man, I'm not passing you guys the ball. I was literally saying that
and people who
and they
so in The Last Dance, right? There was a scene where people were or they were talking about Jordan, and they're like, yeah, Jordan wasn't the nicest teammate. I mean, there'd be times where you're telling guys like,
You don't want to play that way. Don't play that way.
Basically, seeing when Jordan teared up and got emotional.
yeah, because he was being called a jerk, and there was a scene where they're like, yeah, Jordan would tell you like he's not going to pass you the ball for the rest of the game, and it seems harsh, but and it wasn't necessarily effective for us. I would say that, but well, we ended up it wasn't because we lost that game. The game
No. The game that I said it was against Jerome's team, and me and you.
Oh
scored.
yeah. It was. I thought.
No,
it was
we
against,
didn't.
I thought it was against Ray and
No.
them. The game we lost to the young boys.
Because that was
it
the
wasn't-
final
it
straw
was-
because
it
we were
wasn't-
gonna lose that game.
Yeah, facts.
And I was like, yo, like, all right,
and this is a team that we're.
I'm not
supposed to
passing
beat.
the ball. I didn't pass the ball, and the result was a win for
Right.
us.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it seems harsh, but that game
That's leadership.
specifically, Austin and I were carrying the team, and the other guys they weren't performing well that game.
But
And it was effort too. That was it was effort and pride. It was like there wasn't any pride. So all that to say, we had to look ourselves in the mirror and say, all right, us basically challenging these guys isn't working, right? And I called Austin. I'm like, look, man, we got to change this up. We were 4-3 going to the last game. The last game wasn't against a stylish team, right? They had a good amount of talent. Like we could have lost. And I was like, we got to be more positive when things go wrong, right? Like we got to, instead of basically putting pressure on guys, we got to take pressure off and say, look, we're good. We've been here before. Let's do this, right? Let's just be more positive. And that was a turning point.
Mm-hmm.
That was a turning point to me, is because that game that we played against it was a Nova Bulls team or whatever. It wasn't even like we had the best like offensive game, as a team, but we played hard, we strapped, we stayed together, and that was the difference, man. So going to the championship game or whatever, we
got a little heated.
It was. I mean, it was basically, I compare it to like the Cavs, Warriors 2016, like Game 7 type of game. Like it was that intense.
But we haven't lost to them, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a rivalry because I mean we're like 5-1, and the one time they beat us, half our team was in there. I mean, if they want to count it.
Yeah, but got another championship. Going for the three-peat. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever won back-to-back in anything, like championship-wise. Regular season in high school, yeah, but like I'm talking like actual.
I think we did
championship.
I think we did in the Fall Church League. I think we did one time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
I think we did one time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did.
I haven't lost a lot,
but
in these adult leagues.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us have.
What else? What else happened now?
Yeah. I mean, Neek, what's good? Like during the break, man, what was good with you? I know. Neek was busy.
I just be trying to work, man. That's it.
Like, we'd be remiss to not talk about this because I saw your hat. Drew, man. Shout out to the Drew,
Smiley family. Can't wait to go back, man.
Yeah, I will make sure I'm back every year. I would love to play in it, but if not, like you said, man, it's family. Like literally felt like I was a part of family. Ironically, we got the same last name.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know what the Drew League is, it's the premier pro-am, professional and amateur league in LA area. But best basketball league in the world when it comes to like summer leagues. NBA guys, overseas guys that can still play at a high level. And they just do things the right way, man. The right environment. the community comes out and supports. It's for a good cause. Again, it's family run, in all facets. And yeah, if you like hoop, if you're a lover of the game, you're gonna enjoy that experience. Like I'm talking, I was there for a weekend, got to catch, pretty much every game, and there was a family. Actually, it's crazy, from Essex, the UK, where I played at, and I heard their accent. I was like, "Oh, like where are you guys from?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, played in Essex." They're like, "Yeah, that's where we're from." So crazy
it's
small
not a
world,
coincidence, yeah.
but
That's a guy.
they came in the summer because they were like, "Well, we're here on holiday, and there's no NBA game, so this is like the closest thing
Facts.
that we could get." And as they're saying this, DeMar DeRozan is like right in front of me warming up. So like, shout out to DeMar, man, because I think he tried to play every weekend, which he probably did. But yeah, man, it's a beautiful experience. We'll be back. Hopefully, the whole crew will be there. And yeah, it's a big time, big time league, with even more big time people. So yeah, shout out to the Dream.
Just to piggyback off that, Draymond Green said something that was powerful, and actually may have been when he had an interview with DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, probably.
Right after LeBron came and played, right?
Yeah.
And what he said is, these are people from the hood, pretty much. South Central LA, or all over, LA, and they don't have the means or the time to go to a Lakers game, or any pro game, right? So this is the closest thing that they'll ever get to seeing, LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young, Montrezl Harrell, named NBA guy. And the cool thing is, I'm pretty sure it's free.
It's free.
And it's like courtside, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
you're not paying.
You're playing like I think it's where the game was at. I don't know. Is that a community college?
I don't know.
King Drew.
King Drew is a high school.
That's a high school? Yeah, so it's a nice high school, but yeah, it's at a high school gym. So imagine, like, you're literally seeing LeBron at Herndon High School. Like, he's playing on that court. Like, that's exactly what it was. So yeah, to your point, man. Like, and it's about the kids. It's about the community, and they make that the forefront. So
we're gonna get Dino Smiley on the pod.
Gotta get Mick on too.
Yeah, facts. 'Cause shout out to Tao and Meso, his brothers. They were both on, but got to get Mick on, and definitely got to get Dino on, because he didn't. And here's a lesson. He didn't do it to get famous. He didn't do it to become some big brand. He literally was doing everything for the right reasons.
He said,
right.
I mean, there was a need.
Exactly.
Keep people off the streets.
Keep people off the streets.
Because it's like it's South Central, like it's just
and it's to unify.
It's in the
people,
It's in the neighborhood.
I mean, people come in there from different gang sets, and they already know, like, they're not bringing none of that foolishness here.
Yeah.
And at least since I've been following the Drew, I haven't heard of any like bad incidents that ever come out the Drew. I mean, everyone respects them. And again, if you do things with the right heart, God will bless you. Real quick, we kind of talked about the NFL. I don't really want to dig too deep into that. We'll talk more about it when week 1 is done and we kind of have something to talk about. Hopefully, my Jags beat the Commanders. Shout out to all the Commander fans. Y'all get on my nerves, but yeah, y'all better hope we don't win, because I'm blowing all y'all up. But speaking of South Central LA, or just LA in general, Serena Williams, man, just played her last tennis match. I think she may come back.
I think she's coming back.
I think she may come back. She was playing.
She was playing
better.
way too well.
Yeah, she was playing.
And you could just see it in her. Like, I feel like she didn't really like absorb the farewell, because she's like, all right, like, this just didn't. It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right.
It doesn't.
So I would not be surprised if she comes back.
Yeah.
And I would love to see her back.
And she has a lot left in her. But she just finished her supposedly finished her career, and I mean, arguably the greatest tennis player ever. Man or woman. But there's been a lot of rumblings and debates about, is she the greatest athlete of all time? Right? Is she the greatest athlete of all time? So, you gotta get the drop ready.
I got it.
For our first clock in or clock out. Clock in or clock out that Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time.
I want to clock out. I mean, it's a very broad, question, but I'm going to clock out on it. From a tennis perspective, I'm going to say, she's the greatest tennis player of all time. How many Grand Slams does she
23.
Yeah. All the accolades and her impact in tennis, which will get to my point as to why I don't think she is. But I'm going to say she's the greatest tennis player of all time. But athlete-wise,
male or female?
Male or female. I can't deny that as tennis, but whole spectrum of sports, I'm going to say no, because in totality, you look at her impact, just globally, she doesn't have the impact like a Jordan or a LeBron or a Ronaldo or a Messi or a Pele. I think that matters, because you can justify awards versus somebody else's personal awards. I could, from a strictly athletic standpoint, Michael Phelps has to be in that conversation.
I was going to say, yeah.
But we don't associate him as being the greatest athlete of all time. If you want to get to that athlete point, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner now.
It's Bruce, man. I'm sorry. This is where I'm gonna get canceled. It's Bruce. I'm sorry. It's Bruce.
No, I gotta respect when he was an athlete. Yeah, Bruce, but he's Caitlyn Jenner now. You gotta respect it. Do I agree with it? No, but that's what he wants to be called, and
yeah,
that's who he is. But from an athletic standpoint, yeah, he was Bruce Jenner. But yeah, I think just from a total impact standpoint, I can't put her as the greatest, because that cultural, just allure, she hasn't done that, throughout. Everybody freaking knows who Michael Jordan is. The fandom is wild. Even if you don't even like sports, you know who Michael Jordan is, and he retired 20-something years ago. So I think all that matters. I didn't even bring up the business stuff. Dudes are literally, I saw it today, I think Ray posted it, his shoe, dudes are literally stealing out of the delivery trucks. You're not doing that for Serena's shoes or any other player. So yeah, greatest tennis player ever in my opinion, yeah, but I can't give her that greatest athlete badge.
Yeah, I'm going to clock out too for different reasons. I disagree that she didn't have a global impact.
No, I'm not saying she doesn't. Tennis is a global sport, but levels to it.
Yeah, she's not on Jordan's level, but there are tennis players in this U.S. Open who are all over the world who are
I agree.
I want to play like Serena. She changed a lot about the business of tennis. Got equal pay for the most part, women's compared to men's. And look, I'm all about,
so.
and I'm all for that because of economics. I'm not gonna go there, but it makes sense.
Yeah, the value.
It makes sense.
But sorry to just one quick nugget off that. You're mentioning tennis players, right? That you're saying her impact. I think Jordan's had that effect across all sports. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the mentality of it.
I agree. I agree. I don't.
Freaking Kyrgios is wearing J's.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
there's to me, Jordan's the greatest athlete of all time. Now you could get into the debate about, well, should it be separated into the greatest individual sport athlete versus the greatest team athlete? I think that's up for
Then I'll
debate,
give that-
right?
then I'll
Because
give that
it's different, right? It's different because when you factor in team sports, you got to factor in bringing other people with you, leadership.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, on the individual side, it's literally just you.
Yeah.
And it's arguably mentally tougher to win. So, I mean, Serena, from a minority perspective, I mean, she made it possible for others to think that they can become tennis players and succeed. She's done a lot, man. But I'm just gonna keep it a buck, man. Like, Federico moment. This is also, we're also in the whole feminism. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like, feminism is not today. It isn't men are equal or women are equal to men. It's women are superior to men. That's how it's being pushed these days. Or femininity is more important than masculinity. So I don't know if we're talking about this of her as the greatest athlete of all time if we're not in this huge feminist.
I know what you're saying, but I think she's earned that right, dog.
Yeah, 100%. No,
yeah, that's wild.
I agree. Look,
I don't care.
Look.
I don't care what.
I agree.
social-
I agree.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But Cynthia Cooper, if you look at what the Houston Comets did in the WNBA and what Cynthia Cooper did,
her timing just is unfortunate.
it's what I'm saying. If you put her in now, people are putting. If you think of greatest basketball players of all time, man and woman, people don't think, oh, Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper was the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. She literally was.
Yeah.
But so that's my point. It's not none of this is to downplay Serena. I'm just saying, I'm looking at the whole world environment that we're in, and she went from being the greatest tennis player of all time, which people are saying that, which I agree with, but greatest athlete. I mean,
I think it's fair. It's fair to put her in. I think it's fair to put her in that category.
Yeah,
after all that she's done,
people who change their sport.
Yeah,
when you look at their sport.
Yep.
She's definitely
literally game changer.
No, but
before you saw her play
I get that, but greatest is one, right? There's gonna be one greatest. If you say she's a top 10 or she's in the conversation, I'm all for that. But for people saying she is the greatest athlete, that means she's the number one athlete to ever grace this earth.
Yeah, 20-year run, bro.
You can put. That's what I'm saying. You could put her in that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. The conversation.
It's all conversation.
The conversation. I'm just saying.
Jordan's in the conversation.
I can't clock in that.
Yeah,
Jordan didn't
like
play 20
Tiger's in the conversation.
Exactly. I'm just saying I can't clock in. That's why I can't clock in that she is.
We're both agreeing.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying,
that's my point.
If you were to say, "Yo, I think Serena's a great," I would be like, I don't disagree, but. Hey, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, I'm not saying she doesn't belong. I'm not saying she doesn't belong. I'm just saying the era that we're in, I think, plays a part in people saying that she is the greatest. Like
I get what you're saying.
Like better than Jordan.
Yeah.
Better than Tiger.
Nah,
because she's not. When you think of the greatest,
because it's recent.
Well, that too. But all right, think about it. What other female athlete is considered the greatest of all time, other than Serena? She's the only one. She's not being compared to other.
Because we've never seen anyone like Serena.
Well,
we haven't.
I mean, if we want to play devil's advocate, there's a woman, Margaret Court. You people say, well, it's a different era. She's won more.
24.
She's won 24.
Yeah, Serena's
and she has a better winning.
So is Bill Russell in the conversation? If we're talking about champions, it's correct.
I mean, you're gonna throw Tiger in there, and then how are you gonna compare Tiger as an athlete to LeBron? Like I think that's a whole nother argument.
That is, I mean, that's an argument.
Throw another factor.
But y'all play golf?
Impact beyond
And
the
that's
sport.
no disrespect to golf, no disrespect to tennis, but like the average person doesn't look at those athletes in the same spectrum as a basketball or football player.
Yeah, no, you're
No
right.
disrespect to
exactly.
the sport at all or the difficulty. Same thing with baseball. Like people don't look at baseball players as athletic.
Who's the GOAT in baseball?
You know.
I mean, people say Babe Ruth, but I mean,
Nah,
I
no
don't know.
chance. I can't give him. Nah.
I mean, who is?
Hank
You know,
Aaron.
my thing is, all right, Roger Federer.
Is it Hank?
Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle.
Cheater?
Nah.
Cheater in there? No, he can do it now.
Pujols. There's a lot of players.
I
that
mean,
are
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds.
I mean, Barry,
Yeah, I mean,
Burry.
that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be in the conversation, but I'm just saying we're in a world where there's this
Yeah,
comparison.
it's amplified.
It's amplified.
Given the social.
And that's what I'm saying.
Timing.
I'm saying the timing matters.
Yeah, it definitely does.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she doesn't
Yeah.
deserve
Go
it.
golf in 5 years,
The
bro.
timing matters.
Did she win today?
I think
She's
she
about
did.
she's about to lose. Nah, she's about to lose. She's playing now. She's
Oh,
about
she's
to
playing
lose.
now?
You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
I got some
there's-
good. I got some because I posted on my joint.
Maybe she is the first female.
Someone said female athlete. If so, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
my guy
Maybe
Aaron
she's the
said.
first one.
Aaron
You said
Smith.
there's ever been another one. Like maybe she's the first one.
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
You know?
but if you're saying
Someone
the
said yes.
greatest,
End of story. GOAT. Aaron Smith said, "Hell nah, greatest athlete in quotation is LeBron easily. They should have had a kid together though.
Aaron
He's a
said-
fool." Mick said, "Stop it, laughing emoji."
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's. I understand the moment. I understand the time we're in. I just.
That's a lot of hardware, dog.
It is
It's a lot of hardware.
It's a lot of that.
But I mean, why isn't Roger Federer in the conversation then?
And I think
Based on
I'm
accomplishments.
a Federer guy.
Based on the
Well,
accomplishments.
well, Nadal
is
has
different
him
than
in
the best
majors.
athlete too.
Huh?
Winningest athlete is different than the best athlete.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. It's a
Just
broad.
because you got all these trophies
It's
doesn't
a-
mean you're the best.
It's a
The guy
it's a
with
very
the-
broad-
doesn't necessarily win.
it's a very broad question. And It's
Yeah.
fun to argue.
Yeah, no,
There's so many layers to it.
Yeah, nah, there is.
There's so many
Look,
layers
Here's
to
the
it.
thing about Serena, though. No one in tennis with her body type and her build has ever really. You don't see any. I've never seen a tennis player like her at all to begin with. But for her to have her build and the curves and all that, like she did it her way. She didn't try to lose weight and try to look like be the typical whatever tennis persona. Like she did it her way, and I think that adds to her greatness. Like she's one of a kind, right? She's one of a kind. I think when you think the greatest, you think of one of a kind, and that's what I'm saying. She should be in the conversation. But there's only one greatest. That's why I'm like I can't put her above.
You can't.
I can't put her
It's
above
apples
a
to oranges,
couple
bro.
people.
Yeah, it is. It is.
know?
It is. And obviously we're biased because we're, basketball and Jordan fans, but I agree. It's apples to oranges. There's so many layers that you can, throw in, but I mean, shoot. Greatness is greatness, man. Shout out to
Yeah, nah. All the
Clock in.
this is just.
Clock in.
I know I'm gonna get some flack. Are you trying to put women? Nah, I'm not. I'm just being real about the environment.
Nah, it definitely
I mean,
adds to it.
It adds to the storyline. But I'm throwing in a curveball here, just because I thought it would be cool to talk about. You familiar with Francis Tiafoe and his story as a tennis player and kind of how that?
Don't know. I know he's DMV guy.
Yeah.
Super talented. I don't know too much about his person. He went to Maryland, right?
I don't know if he went to Maryland.
I think he went to Maryland.
Yeah, I got it.
Or he's from College Park, but
Yeah, he's from Hyattsville, College Park.
Yeah.
That's it.
but I don't know too much about his story.
I'll be quick because I think there's a lesson in
I think I know what you're
in
gonna
the
get
story.
to. 'Cause I heard the interview.
And then how after the match after he beat Nadal. So Real quick background on him. His parents were immigrants from Sierra Leone, and his dad was looking for housing, like just a place to live for him and his brother. I think his mom was back home at the time. And he ended up getting a job as a janitor at the University of Maryland.
Yep.
And they literally lived in like a janitor's closet or like some type of like setup that way. And
That's crazy.
One day they like walked past the tennis court and they just like started playing, and then someone was like, "Hey, like you guys are like pretty athletic, have some potential. Do you want to learn?" And then someone just literally taught them at the University of Maryland Tennis Center like for free. And that's how he got involved in tennis.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, he goes through the amateurs, all that, and he's like I mentioned, one of the up and comers on the tennis tour. So he plays against Rafa Nadal, has the most,
arguably the greatest. You could argue he's the greatest.
Yeah, you could argue he's the greatest men's tennis player. I mean, you could throw him in there for the greatest tennis player all time. I mean, as far as majors and all that. All that to say, Nadal isn't supposed to lose to this guy. So I'm watching the match, and if you've seen Tiafoe play before, he's a pretty like energetic, plays off his emotions to a degree, like gets the crowd involved type of guy. But throughout the match, it was, if you watch tennis and you watch Rafa Nadal play, he hits shots and he recovers from things that 99% of the guys don't recover. And it's as an opponent, he's
super athletic.
Yeah, and he's strong as a mug. Like, as an opponent, it's deflating.
Spanish bull.
Right. It's deflating. It's deflating when you hit a shot. You're like, oh, that's in. Or there's no way he's getting that, and he gets it, and then he, gets a point.
Yeah.
So that happened multiple times. The Tiafoe never, he just stayed even keel. So all I have to say, he played a great match, and he ends up winning. Crying, emotional crying. He goes now. He's in the quarterfinals, and in the interview, he was like, the interviewer's like, what are you thinking right now? You just beat one of the best of all time. And he was like, I don't know what happened. I couldn't believe I won. And just was like, I played great tennis, but can't believe I won. So, one of the things I wanted to throw out there as a question, for the listeners, even for us, is like, how did he win, right? Like, why did he win? Because there's this, I don't want to call it a misconception, because it is true that you do need to have belief, you do need to have faith, and you do need to have an expectation that you're going to win, right? Like that's a fact. But there's times, man, where you just go out there and you just trust your instincts and win, right? So, I don't know if you've ever had games like this where, you go into it and you're like, I don't think we're going to win this game, or we shouldn't win this game, but I'm just going to go out there and see what happens, and then you win. But in your opinion, man, in situations like that, like, how do teams who don't necessarily have that belief, how do they end up winning? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, he actually answered the question in the interview. I thought you were going to mention it, but he was like, a few years ago, I would have mentally broke down. And there's no way I would have recovered from the adversity. I would have melted and ended up losing the match. And he talked about how he matured mentally.
Right.
It had nothing to do with like physical attributes, his backhand, his forehand, drop shot, like none of that. He literally pointed to how I just matured mentally and became mentally stronger. And for him to recognize that shows me that he's going to be doing this for a while. So, yeah, to answer your question, man, I think it starts up here.
100%.
Right? If you can't envision yourself, one, winning the match, but if you can't control certain emotions during a match or a game, we talked about this. Been going through this with a client that I train, and man, it was encouraging because today she had a really good workout, and when you can't get over that barrier of the mental battle, it's going to be hard for you to progress in your athletic endeavors or just
in
life and period. So I think it starts with the mental kind of reps, like how are you working on that in whatever field you're in? Are you putting yourself in uncomfortable situations?
There you go.
Like, for example, a client that I trained, we end with 10 free throws, and we got to make 10 in a row. It's all mental. Like, I've seen her make like 17, 20 in a row. But the moment you get to 8 or 9 and you miss that joint, how are you going to react to that? And
you know what happens? And I was going to talk about Tiafoe and why he won, but what happens is you start thinking, don't miss.
Yep.
Don't miss.
But you said it. Think. And I told her that today. I was like, don't think. Trust the work that you've done. You've made that free throw thousands of times. It's just the same shot. Just make it. Don't think. And that's where and I'm guilty, that's where a lot of athletes and people in whatever it is they're trying to chase, that's where they get caught up. They start thinking too much. I had a kid today. He asked me, and this is God's confirmation. He was like, how do you get over like a mental block? And I'm like, well, what are you doing mentally to prepare yourself to face these mental blocks? He didn't really give me a good answer. But I told him, like, the first thing you got to stop doing, you got to get out of your head. Because once you're in your head and you're playing ping pong with yourself, then, you're in trouble.
Yep.
So, yeah, I know that's a long-winded answer, but I think mentally, man, you have to be tough, and you have to. Dad talks about it. You have to go. And this is just like he uses it in this like in relationships. In order for a relationship to like really like bond and be strong, you got to go through something. And I believe that in sports and life. I mean, I think Jordan said it like, I succeed because I've failed so many times. And when you learn, again, the key is when you learn through failure, you're going to figure out how to win. So, yeah, I think putting yourself in situations of discomfort and then figuring out how to, maneuver through will get you to that point.
No, that's a great answer, man. And you actually took one of the things that I said when I looked at why did he win, right? Because when I look at like sports, movies, I'm always thinking like, all right, how can I apply this to my life or help other people apply it to their life? And if you listen to past episodes, especially episode 10 where we talk about our basketball journey, I can relate to just trusting the work before you have the belief, right? So I put, he trusted his work. He built good habits, right? And he never got too high or too low.
Yeah.
He was strategic, and it was, I had never thought about this until the commentator said it. Because, again, Tiafoe is a very, passionate, he can be kind of flashy, type of dude, right? And the commentator said he's conserving, he's not getting the crowd into it right now. He's conserving that energy for the right moment. And if you look throughout the match, at certain points, he got the crowd involved. It wasn't after every big shot. It wasn't, when he felt like the dog was going to run. He was strategic, and they said because it takes energy out of you.
Yeah.
To get and again I'm very similar. I'm a very passionate type of player. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that I gotta be strategic with that because you can burn yourself out. The other thing that I think he did well, and we've done well when we hoop, is he expects the storm is coming, right? I think that from a mental toughness perspective, what gets a lot of people is I'm all about visualizing success and visualizing, speaking things into existence, all that, right? Like you should do that, but you should prepare yourself in your training, physically and mentally, for I call it the opponent's run, right? Like the run is coming. If you listen to coaches, in basketball especially, they say basketball is a game of runs. You may go up 15-0 to start off the first quarter. Now, if you look at this basketball trends, most people know, all right, that team is going to come out fighting. So expect that, meaning when they make their run, we're not going to panic, right? We're not going to be defensive. We're not going to, just kind of brace and take hits. Like we're going to fight back, but we know it's coming at some point, right? So I think with Tiafoe, it's like, all right, I know he's going to hit some ridiculous shots. I know it's coming, and now in those moments, I can't fold, right?
It's almost on the women's side when Serena lost, and I'm not suggesting this, but she almost she was like, I didn't think I was gonna win, so I literally went out and just played, and you shouldn't have that approach, but I think there's a certain calmness to it.
Yeah,
not having those expectations and just going out and and letting loose.
She played free, yeah, and you can tell.
That girl, she wasn't supposed to win that match. First of all, at all. And when I tell you, Serena would hit a shot, and if I'm that coach or just her in general, I don't remember her name, but to win that match, dog, with that crowd. Literally 95% of that crowd was for Serena.
Oh, 100%.
Serena's hitting, she gets an ace, the crowd's going wild. Then Shorty would just come back, boom, mean forehand, right up the line, point, silence. To win that joint, I was like, yo. And then they talked about with her, she was notorious for shutting down in big moments. So for her to win that match,
it's huge, man.
So
it's huge. So just wrapping up this section, there's things that you could do to simulate and prepare for adversity, man. I mean, in basketball, there's a game called drill called Beat the Pro, right? And I did it with high school guy. I trained Michael Manzer. And it's me, Austin, Brandon, and I. We've been in the gym 4 hours because we didn't beat the pro. And the way it works, there's two ways to play the game. You can either do when you make a point or you make a bucket, right? And you're shooting, right? It's 5 spots. Let's say you're in the corner, right? And if I make a shot from there, it's 1 point. If I miss it, it's 2 points for the imaginary opponent, the pro. So you could do first to 20 win. So if you miss 10 shots before you make 20, you're gonna lose. The other way you can do it is if you make it, it's +1. If you make it, it's -1. And either if you get this, you got to get the 7 before the pro gets to -7, pretty much.
We did it in college.
Actually, if you miss, it's -2. Sorry, it's -2.
It's -2.
If you make it,
in college,
it's +1.
we did it. We did it to 21. If you miss, it's it was +3. So whoever gets to 21 first win. So it's +3, and if I make, it's +1. So you talk about
efficiency.
Yeah. You had to make shots,
and it's extremely frustrating, man. And you're playing against an imaginary person.
You're playing against yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the concept.
And I'm gonna tell you, there was we did the -7 or 7 way, and Michael would get to +2, and then he would miss like 2 in a row. It happened like 8 straight times.
You're playing the 7?
Playing the 7, yeah. And matter of fact, no, he'd get the +2, but he would miss. He'd make the first one, and he would miss the second one. So he'd go from 1 to -1 immediately. And I said, "Look,
that's completely different from like 0 than like being in that negative. It's really only like one shot, right?
But mentally,
yes, I'm saying
mentally it's different.
Yeah.
So I was like,
especially when you're in the positive.
So after a while, I said, "Look, man," I said, "you got to build a lead. You got to build a lead, and you got to get past 2. If you get, I said, and I knew it. I said, if you get past 2, once you get to 3, you're good.
That's usually how it works.
Because once he missed, because if he got to 2, and then he missed it, he goes back to 0 mentally.
But even 0 though, it's like I'm not in the negative, but 0 is a positive, right? So, but yeah, once you hit that negative talk,
yeah.
Runs.
No, yeah. But for him, it was even getting down to 0. So he got to 3, and he missed, and he was still in 1, and he ended up fighting back.
Yeah.
And
it's
things like that.
It's life,
it builds that adversity stamina. I think is a
That's why I always say, man, sports is the greatest metaphor to life. Like that game it's life, dog. It's tennis, roller coaster. Like tennis is so interesting to me because it's like you'll win the first set 6-1, and then the next set like you'll lose that joint to 6-1. Bro, it's like how does that happen?
I played it like during the pandemic. I played it a lot. I can say it's the most mentally
golf.
Yeah,
golf
but in tennis,
golf's a different.
In tennis, there's an element of like someone's beating you.
Yeah,
like someone is beating you.
Yeah, like physically you're matched up with somebody.
Yeah, like you're getting beat. But a lot of times, again, this is another thing with Tiafoe, like controlling the controllables. That's something that he did. You can lose yourself on unforced errors, right?
So
like you can completely just beat yourself.
If you look at, and we just talked about Serena, but man, I would say
most of her losses are
like Serena should probably have like
she should have like 50, 35.
She should have like 50.
She should have like 35
Grand Slams, like. And it's crazy that she's that successful because she's probably like, obviously she's mentally tough, but like she shows a lot of emotion when she plays. Yeah. And a lot of her losses is because of that, like just mental breakdown.
That's why it's tough for me, man.
It's crazy. It's like 800 wins to like 150 losses.
Yeah.
No, it's nuts.
And that's another thing that was tough for me. It's like I've seen how you've lost, and it's, I mean, you literally melt down.
Yeah, and I don't like remember the Naomi Osaka, like how that went down. I particularly didn't like that. Yeah. But whatever.
But yeah, we can transition to one of the last topics. This might be the last one, but man, I'm not going to get into detail, but I mean, it's been a wild year and some change for me personally, right? And it's been that way for a lot of people, right? This isn't to like
pity party.
Yeah, this is a pity party, but the point is actually the opposite, right? I have goals, right? And if you look at, sports, business, relationships, whatever, ministry, like music, whatever is going on. Here's the thing about winning. And this is a page out of Tim Grover's book, who's Michael Jordan's. He was his personal trainer. The goal doesn't care what you have going on. It doesn't. There's no emotion to go to that goal or to winning. Like there's. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. And I see so many people who, rightfully so, you know, they have different things that come up in their life, right? And there's times where you should, like, take a step back and maybe focus on getting that thing straight before you go head on and go full blast to hit that goal. But for a lot of us, we can't afford that, right? So, you know, regardless of what's going on, the goal is a goal, man. The goal is a goal, and honestly, again, just speaking from a Christian perspective, I mean that's what we are. You know, the enemy's gonna throw stuff at you, so you don't hit that goal, right? That's just kind of how things work, man. So
the opposition, like
Inky, the opposition.
Inky always talking about the opposition.
Whatever you want to call it, the universe. Some people think that, you know, the universe, karma, you know, whatever. You know, we're not here to push this on you, but you know, I mean, I can think of honestly the things I'm most proud of when it comes to like looking back at different things in my life. It was when, I mean, there was a lot going on that wasn't good. Different things that came up, injuries, you know, relationship stuff, you name it. You know, stuff with coaches and family stuff going on, and you know, through God's strength, man, you know, things always worked out for the better, and. Not here to tell you like I never have moments of doubt and that I don't today, but one of the things I've realized is, you know, I could go to Austin and go, look, man, you know, I don't know if I should do the podcast anymore. I don't know if I should train anymore. I don't know, you know, man, working out is tough. Like it's because of all this stuff going on. And knowing him and knowing, you know, how he thinks, you say, man, just figure it out. just figure it out. But the thing is, we live in such a time where
it's okay.
We're pacified.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, you can do it tomorrow, or you know, your body is just fine the way it is. No, you're overweight, and there's a reason why, you know, you're having issues, or there's a reason why.
Or you're an alcoholic.
You didn't hit this number.
You're a drug addict.
You know.
You watch too much TV.
Like,
you know.
It's like, you gotta have some people in your corner that can just tell it how it is, man. And I know that with my circle, family, like if I'm wilding, like they're gonna let me know, like, all right, you guys, it's enough. That's enough.
It's anti-victim mentality. It's the opposite of what's going on. Like, go on social media, go on Fox News, CNN, whatever. Victim mentality is being pushed.
Yeah.
Lack of accountability is being pushed.
It's the reason why
parents,
our country is in the place we're at.
I mean, parents, like, man, I've been thinking about this, right? And, you know, this is kind of getting off topic, but it is related.
We got like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be quick. We see this a lot in youth sports, but I see it in everyday life, right? We got to stop freaking idolizing our kids.
Oh my God.
We got to stop idolizing our kids, man. Like,
Can you explain that to the people who
please,
don't have children?
Please.
I'll give you an example.
Keep it a buck who mostly is idolizing.
I mean, it's moms a lot these days, but it's also men too.
Yeah,
it's different ways, right? How many men? You may not think of it this way. How many men are trying to live their athletic dreams through their son? Right, that's idolatry. You're idolizing that kid because you're you have him on such a pedestal, or her on such a pedestal, that your mood, your happiness, you know, a lot of things are riding on how successful this person is in sports, right? It's not just women, but I'll give you an example that I see on social media a lot from mothers. Post a picture of the kid, you know, you saved me, and you know, you're the reason why.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Like,
yeah, I'm literally obsessed with you, and
like
you're the, you know,
like the end. Like when you break that, that just bothers the crap out of me. The obsession. Do you know what that? Like, you know how you sound when you say that. Like, it's weird, and I mean, this is my opinion.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're treating kids like saviors, right? Like, you know, if it wasn't for you, and now look, God uses people and kids to send send messages to you, like, you need to change, like, you know, you need to change this, or you need to improve on this, or, you know, you need to wake up, right? Like, yeah, like, God uses people, but you're using the person as a God. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, when we idolize these kids, right? Now
there's an emotional attachment.
Yeah, there's an emotional attachment, but now when the kid is struggling in school because he or she isn't paying attention, or they're on their phone, and because you're idolizing this kid, what are you doing? You're looking at the teacher like, what are you doing wrong? Right? The coach, the trainer, because you idolize this kid, when they're being disrespectful, when they're not working hard, well, it must be you. It must be the coach. It must be the trainer, right? Or it could be on the opposite end, right? Where when they mess up, it bothers you so much that you know, you take it all on the kid, because again you're trying to live your dreams and goals through that kid. But again, it's just when we make these kids, what's the word I'm looking for? When they are a vehicle for us to you know, really deal with some of our trauma, it never ends well. And what
for both parties.
For both, you know what I'm saying? Like I have a son. He's 10 months, and you know, he needs me obviously, but
he be getting on your nerves.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little Federico, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to challenge me and all types of stuff.
Shoot.
And you know, he needs to learn, like, all right, like you need to wait, like you need to be able to go in this playpen and play and not wow out, right?
Yeah.
Like, but if I make it about him, guess what?
He's gonna think it's about him throughout.
And
no, it's
not life, man.
Yeah, it isn't. It's not life. And look, as parents, right? Like, our job is to, you know, protect them from harm, provide, you know, all the necessity stuff. Like, that's our job. But like, let's say in a sports setting, our job is to prepare you for life. And when you get in certain settings, you got to go through it yourself, dog. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to hold your hand when a coach says, hey man, I don't think you're good enough right now to play over this person. Although I may disagree, I'm like, all right, well, what are you going to do about it? Prove it to the coach. I'm not in practice every day. So maybe he's right. Maybe he is. Maybe he is better than you. So what are you going to do in practice and in workouts and when you guys are playing, you know, inter-squad scrimmages? What are you going to do to prove to that coach, hey, I deserve more playing time? And it takes an accountability from you, the player, but it also takes, just straight up honesty, dog. Like, how many kids are telling their parents, like, you know what, Johnny just outworked me today. Like, why isn't he playing? Like, why aren't you playing over him? Honestly, there's some loose balls that he won. He made some shots. He outplayed me. How many kids are saying that? How many players are saying that?
Yeah, very, very few. And if they do, it's too far on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Where the parent beats them up so much that, they blame everything on themselves, and they're too hard on themselves, right? But what we're in today is a lot of parents are building artificial confidence, right? Well, and parents, siblings, friends, right?
Social media.
Like, you should be playing. You should be playing over so and so, right? He's better than you. You're better than this kid. You're better than that kid. Like, you should be playing. And then what happens? They go to a different team or whatever. And we've talked about this. It's an episode called True Confidence. You're not going to build true confidence until you go through adversity and get through it. Or you put in the work, and your confidence is based on the work and you applying that work, right? Not what your parents said, not what your brother said. You have to. The foundation of confidence has to be based on something strong. And it has to be based off of facts, right? It has to be. So
you said it.
Last thing I'll say. Quick story.
Let me ask you this: do facts? Is emotion involved in facts? Like, is that a part of the equation?
No.
Okay, carry on.
No. The truth is the truth.
Carry on.
It doesn't matter how you feel. The truth is the truth.
Carry on.
Real quick story, and then
Clock
I'll
in.
wrap up.
Clock in.
So for our basketball training company, The Goods Basketball, I do the 10 and 11-year-olds on Wednesdays and Saturdays. There's a kid who just started coming who gets on my nerves.
And I'm not gonna say it. I shouldn't say that. People could guess, but I don't know. But we share a name, and I'm a little sick about it.
Yeah, he gets on my nerves. He complains. He's complaining about everything.
Was he complaining last session Saturday? He seemed better.
Yeah, because I told him he'll never come back again, and I told his father he'll never come back again if he keeps acting this way. So that's a lesson, boundaries, right? Like I set a boundary early about what I expect, and some people may think I'm being mean. It's like, no, these kids are used to being able to walk all over people or cross boundaries and not have any.
But it's also for the sake of the other kids who are there to actually learn and get better.
100%.
Because if you got a kid who's acting up, that's time away from their development that you have to tend to.
100%. And I told him, I said, you're the only one who had this issue with it. So anyways, his kid's 10, I believe, and he has older parents, little Moses and Sarah action going on, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Federico.
And I can see the father, older guy, he's on his phone the whole time. He's not really paying attention. I can tell that this kid doesn't really get a lot of positive attention or just attention in general.
Yeah.
And
older guy probably didn't have the energy.
So on Saturday, the kid had his best day, and he did some good things. He scored, and I saw his dad. His dad usually is not paying attention. His dad saw him score, and I saw the look in his dad's eyes. And then after the class, I go up to him, and I'm building him up, man. Like, look, you had the most steals, you had all this, and he's like, well, but I wasn't dribbling. I said, look, man. Right now, let's just focus on what you did right. Let's focus on what you did right. And this is what you did right. And his dad looked at him and was like, great job, you know, with his name, and like patted him on the back. And you could see, like, all right, that kid.
Yeah, he felt validated.
He felt, and so my point is, especially as teachers, parents, trainers, you know, and I have to be better at it, right? Yes, like that kid should have been acting that way, but you have to dig deeper into why. And when I realized, like, every time this kid made a mistake, he's melting down, and it's like, nah, there's something going on that's deeper than just him being a jerk. You know, like his kid isn't.
It starts in the home.
It starts in the home, and it really made me. This kid isn't going to be a good basketball player. I'm just going to be honest with you. He's not going to be a good basketball player. But
he said his favorite player was Kobe too when I talked to him.
Okay. Well,
I hope this kid makes it too.
I hope he does. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. But my point is, you know, a lot of you are you're sitting on your talents, and you're sitting on your purpose. And if Austin doesn't say 2 years ago, hey, we need to get this thing going, you know, we don't have an opportunity to, like, for him to build confidence in the girl that he's training. For me to have that moment with that kid, for me to, you know, have a kid who barely could do anything basketball wise, make an AAU team.
For you to share this.
For me to share this opportunity, you know, this stories that you all can you know, hopefully learn from it. So cool moment, and looking forward to doing more of it, man.
Yes, sir.
Episode 81, first episode of season 5. Yeah, man, this season going for that centennial mark, man. 100. Appreciate y'all, man. October 5th, 10-5. Is that going to be National Clocking Day? Are we going to roll with that, or are we going to do 5-10? It's supposed to be May 10th. You know, we got to figure that out.
Yeah, we need to launch something. So I said we wait till, you know.
May 10th?
Yeah, plus order-wise, it makes sense to order May 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we're back. Episodes out Thursdays. Yeah, man, it feels good.
Follow us on TikTok. I don't know if we had TikTok back then, man. It's Clock In 510 on TikTok. Clock In Pod on IG.
Right? Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, Clock In the podcast.
We on our Grussle, grinding our hustle.
I'm hungry.
Clock in.
About to hit Wendy.
Clock in.
That's my good to fuck. Love y'all, man. We're back.
Appreciate y'all. As always, man, clock in, let's get it.
Clock